welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel and I'm known as Talking Dog Stitcher here on YouTube and over on Instagram as well. This is my YouTube channel about cross stitch and you're joining me today for my mid-July update video. So I'm going to be going through my new starts. I have 3 of them from the first couple of weeks of July and all of the whips that I've been working on, and then at the end I have a little bit of haul. You may have noticed that I have had a haircut. It had been, I looked back in my diary and it had been a full year since I'd had my haircut. My hair is so much healthier now and I'm pretty happy with it. I think my fringe might be a little bit wispy, but I'm pretty happy with it. Is anyone ever really happy at the hairdressers? Like, yes, I love it, can't wait. And then they go home and wash it and then they still love it afterwards. Does that happen for anyone? It doesn't happen for me, ever, but I'm not worried, hair grows. So yes, I have done quite a lot of stitching. I have touched quite a few whips, so I'll get straight into it. My new starts this month have been relatively Christmas and July themed for the most part. What am I talking about? No, they haven't. I've had one Christmas in July start. So on the 4th of July, I started this. This is Sampler Santa by Happy Mood Point on Etsy. I think it's now trading as Daily Pattern Post on Etsy. I think that Happy Mood Point's closed. I picked this up last month and I couldn't wait to stitch it. I saw it on Instagram and had to jump in. I originally started this on the 4th of July using B5200 on my piece of 20 count Ada from Coffee Craft Fabrics, and it wasn't showing up the way I wanted it to. So I took it all out and I started again. I'm using the DMC colour 3808, but I am using the CXC version, and that's where I've got to with a couple of days stitching. I love how tiny it is. It's just being stitched 1/1. Just a centre top start. So I'm really enjoying doing that. Bit of monochrome. On the 8th of July, I started a freebie by Silver Creek Samplers. It's available on their website and it's called Do Everything in Love. I picked this up because I was participating in the Naptime Stitchers Summer Stitches Challenge, and the prompt was to stitch something with a heart or in pink or red. So I decided to go all in. I'd had this pattern for a little while, I really loved it, wanted to get started, so that's what I did. This is another piece of Coffee Craft fabric in 40 count even weave, so it's teeny tiny. I'm stitching 1/2, and I've just started at the bottom point there. Today is it's midday. I'm filming. It's Saturday, the 15th of July, midday, and it is grim, completely grey. If you hear thunder and rain in the background, I'm sorry. It's a beautiful day in Preston today. So yeah, it's being a bit washed out, but it's just the faintest pinky purpley fabric, 40 count even weave, and I'm really enjoying stitching on those, on that with the 1/2. Love that. And then my final start for July so far is my Joyful World series. July. I love this pattern. I love the colours that are in it. I have mentioned in previous videos that I'm going to start all 12 in the series over the course of the year, each month in the month that it is, if that makes sense. And some starts are bigger than others. My May start was pretty good. My June start was minuscule. And then we're falling somewhere in the middle with this one for July. So we've just got the little daffodils up in the corner there. This is being stitched again in CXC on a piece of 32 count linen from Zweigart in Vintage Cream. It's just a printed fabric. And I managed to remember to stitch it on the right side this time because there is a defined back and front because it's printed. And that's it for new starts. I now have a relatively large pile of whips to go through with you. So these are not in any particular order of sort of when I've stitched on them or anything like that. The first one I picked up was my video game sampler by Screaming Heart Design. I'm not going to read it out. This is going to be a gift for my husband eventually. This was another Summer Stitches Challenge pick where we were supposed to stitch something on a dark fabric. And I've got my needle stuck in there. Hang on. I just finished this border at the top all the way across and finished off my white thread, and then got that little flame in there as well. It's stitched on a piece of 32 count linen in the colour Chalkboard by Permin. I don't love it as a fabric. It's okay to work on, but it's not my first choice. Another Summer Stitches Challenge prompt was to stitch on something with grass or food. So I picked, this is my oldest whip, the Designer Stitches kit called A Snoozy Day. It's going back to 2016, this kit, so it would be really nice to get some really good progress on this, maybe even a finish this year. I did quite a lot on this one. So I finished off Rue's body and his t-shirt, and then started in on the green of the tree. As you can see, there is a lot of tree to go, so I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've made on it. All of this back stitching up to around Pooh's middle is done. So yeah, we're getting there. Slowly, slowly. Please ignore my terrible edges. I decided to crack out the sewing machine and try and save it from any further fraying. It just had one day, but it had a really good stitching day on it. Another Summer Stitches Challenge prompt was to stitch on something winter themed or with snow, I think was the prompt. So I picked up one of my Mania starts, which was Country Cottage Needleworks Frosty Forest, which is the Snowy Reindeer pattern. And here is where I am on that. It was mostly these snowflakes that I got in this time. I finished off the border down the side and then got these snowflakes in. There's a gap in the middle here for the button, which I do have. As soon as that one's finished, I've got like 4 more Country Cottage Needleworks patterns to work on. Next one was again a Summer Stitches Challenge prompt to stitch on something with a flower. I picked up my Letty Stitch kit, Flower Shop. Now, if you watched my mid-year whip parade, or even my first whip parade, you'll know that I pick up all of my projects at the beginning of the year or at the very end of the year, and I put in a thread so that come the end of the year, if there's a project with a dangling thread on it, I know that I haven't worked on it all year, and I make sure to work on every project each year. At my mid-year whip parade, this one still had its dangling thread, so I thought, let's get it out, let's get that thread worked in, and then I don't have to do it at the end of the year. And I really enjoyed myself, actually. Let's make sure I get it the right way up. So this whole cream colour here, all of this yellow for the flowers is all new. Again, it was just 1 day stitching for that stitch challenge prompt. But yes, a little bit of progress, more progress than just working in that one thread, which was nice. So I'm sure I've said it before, but I'm happy just to make a little bit of progress here and there and call it good. I'm not a product stitcher. I don't stitch to have stuff to display. I'm stitching because I enjoy the process. So as long as I'm still enjoying stitching on it, then I'm more than happy. I used this for a couple of prompts on the Summer Stitches challenge as well, but I have been working on and off it for other days too. It's my Greenhouse of Oddities Sal. This printout is of the 5th planting, but we are now on the 7th planting, so this whole section is filled in now as well. But I'm nowhere near there, so this is where I've gotten to. I filled in a little bit of the carnivores already, some of this sort of planter in the middle. The frog finally has his little rock to sit on. I'm about 35% of the way through as of planting 6. I haven't downloaded planting 7 yet. It came out last night. But last night we were out at the cinema on a nice little surprise date. My mum went and picked up the children from nursery and took them for a sleepover, and we had a nice little date night. So no stitching was done when the 7th planting came out. There is a little bit over on this side, but it's just frame. There's nothing in there. And then my last whip of the month is my Casuarina Dragon Cell, the Dragon in the Lilies. I'm stitching, oh, I've not been mentioning, have I? Those kits, the Snoozy Day and the Letty Stitch kit, are being done with all of the kit contents, so I think it's off-brand for the Designer Stitches kit, but the Letty Stitch kit uses Anchor floss. Greenhouse of Oddities is on a piece of Coffee Craft fabric. It's 32 count even weave in a sort of greeny, bluey, yellowy, mottled colour. All of the Coffee Craft fabrics are a bit one of a kind, so it's the luck of the draw when you get onto the Facebook group to see what you can find. Whatever you get, they are all always so beautiful. Tell you what, it's a bit of a miserable day, but it is great for showing off the colours of things. Or at least it is in this case, because that's pretty true to form. Anyway, Dragon in the Lilies. It's being stitched on some chromatic alchemy fabric in the colourway Sugar Plum, stitched in CXC, and I've worked most of the B5200 down in the bottom, which is going to be the egg. That is, there we go, that's a bit truer to, there we go, a lovely purple. And that's it for whips. So I hope you've enjoyed. I have got a little bit of haul which I'll go through with you now if you are interested. The first thing that I got this month is my Fibre on a Whim Fabric Club delivery. I picked 32 count in a fat 1/8, and this month's colour was, I'm going to take it out, was Brick. I don't know that I'm a fan of this colour, I'll be completely honest with you. That is not quite showing. It's a very reddy brown. It is very brick coloured. Yeah, it's not quite showing just how red it. There we go. It's quite a reddy brown. I don't think I like it, but I'm sure if I find the right project to put on it, I'll change my mind. Yeah. I'm happy to have it. I love a bit of stash building, and I'm sure there will be something that comes across someday that I'm like, I really want to stitch that and I have the perfect fabric for it. So I will not be complaining in the slightest. The next thing that I got was something that I'd ordered a few months ago. I ordered a Coffee Craft Fabric July Stash Builder bundle. It's a mouthful. And that came with 5 pieces of fabric. One of them you've already seen, my Do Everything in Love was stitched on a piece from there. And the other 4 pieces are here. I picked a 40 count bundle, mostly even weave, but there is a piece of linen. I'm trying to debate. I am going to take them out of their packet. No, I'm not, because they've got stickers. So here's the first one that I got. There we go. It's like a lemon lime colour. Love that. There we go. Sort of murky purple. It's almost like, oh, I like this one. Sort of forget-me-not blue, almost. There we go. They're all 40 count. I'm really excited to get some projects onto those. Also in the bundle there were 5 needle minders. I love this little M&M's one, pink M&M. 5 packs of charms, so I got some crowns, flowers, my favourite ones, the bumblebees, scissors, and love charms. And then it also came with 5, I don't know where they've gone, I had one out, 5 zip pulls. So I've got one of them on here, which is a little lighthouse. They've all made their way onto my various project bags that I've made for myself. One of them has gone on to a gift that I've made, and yeah, they've kind of been dispersed, but there was some really beautiful ones on there. A little sunflower, a starfish, that kind of thing. And then my last, this is quite a big one. I picked up for my Joyful World series patterns, where I'm stitching these. I've mentioned this before, that where the colours appear in the animals, I'm going to be using the called for Gentle Arts. So I got to July, didn't have the called for colours, so I've gone through all of the remaining 10 months and figured out which colours I have, which colours I don't, and I placed an order with Lakeside Needlecraft to get all of those that I was missing. So that arrived. I have a nice big bundle of threads to go through with you. So I've got adobe, rhubarb, fragrant cloves. This is in a fox, I think. Fisherman's Wharf, maple syrup, wood rose, pinky brown, portobello, daffodil, onyx, which I think is for August, is a dog, black and white dog, apple cider, heirloom gold, dungarees, sweet petunia, which is in my flamingo, along with that rhubarb at the beginning, and then the last three. I've got brick path, wheat fields, and wood trail. No idea how I'm going to store those yet, but there they are. I did decide as I was going through the patterns that I would actually like to make the words for the month also be in the over-dyed threads. So some of these do just appear in the word July, for example. So these ones will be my flamingos when I get to that. I'm hoping to do a little bit more stitching on my July pattern before July finishes. And that's it. That's it for haul, that's it for whips, that's it for me until next time. This is my last video before I go on my retreat at the end of July, the Floss Friends retreat in Rotherham. So my next video will be a bit of a retreat overview. Hopefully there'll be plenty of haul and I will be able to show you my last fully finished item, because it is part of the gift exchange for that as well. So I will see you at the end of July or beginning of August. Thank you so much for joining me today.